So gone are those days when companies and enterprises used to link their networks with private leased line circuits. I have technically even managed a couple of them earlier in my career, and these days we can get to know that we can get to see that VPN is used extensively everywhere as such. So unless until it is a huge corporate, it is not something they intend to have their own internal network, and this is the exact issue. You can see here the situation like Apple banning the VPN based apps in the Apple Store in China because due to the government's regulations and stuff like that. The thing is, Chinese government doesn't want their people to access some websites at the same time, also to monitor the data which is going in and out of the country and things like that. And this is where exactly VPN defeats the purpose. As if the VPN or something, a sort of tunneling is in place, and if you encrypt your data, it is not going to happen. It is not something possible for the government as so, which is quite obvious as so. I'm not here to talk about whether the government is doing good or bad, or whether the net neutrality should exist in the place or not as such. So I myself have some kind of different opinions about the same. In some cases, yes, of course it is required for the safety of people. In the other case, it is also kind of exposes everything to the government, and people lose their privacy end of the day, as one can expect as it. So the problem is there is also other alternatives apart from just using public infrastructure like internet. They can start building their own private networks, private leased line networks. Why do you need even to connect your office infrastructure to use VPN through VPN or something like that? Although you have high speed internet access, it is not like those days or around a decade ago where even an internet connectivity is not so good. So these days, of course, you can expect a good internet connectivity, but still, having said that, you can have your own private leased line networks, and you can completely do away with something like a VPN service. I don't know, from the beginning I'm not a big fan of VPN, because VPN is just it's just like a band-aid solution. You got a wound, and then you just instead of doing a proper dressing, what you are doing is just you are pasting a band-aid. So this is what a VPN network is, because it is just doing tunneling, and then due to which there is so much of cost involved in terms of performance. I'm not saying in terms of money. So there is a sort of cost involved by doing so. You are lacking some amount of performance, and of course it gives some amount of flexibility, but at the cost of losing your overall bandwidth in the network. And apart from that, it also helps you to encrypt your data, but again you can do as well similar stuff in your leased link circuits as well. And sometimes if the application is encrypting your data, for example, you have a remote portal of your office billing system or some kind of data processing servers, you can of course use HTTPS or some kind of network which has encryption in place. In that case, why do you need to encrypt once again with VPN tunnels as such? Of course, VPN tunnel may in case if you are using for public internet I'm sorry, it encrypts everything. So it encrypts end of the day DNS exchanges. It encrypts literally everything. So if you are using Facebook or YouTube, you will get double encryption of this SSL data, which is YouTube data or Facebook data. But apart from that, it also encrypts everything else besides having these kind of service data. So but still, having said that, if you have any mid-sized enterprise or some kind of corporate network, it is still suggested to go in the old route with your own private leased line circuits. And I highly appreciate companies using this sort of infrastructure rather than using or else heavily relying on public infrastructure like internet. And if you use internet, this is what the bottleneck it arises as. So because it is something heavily regulated by the government, it's just you should understand it's like you are end of the day sleeping with a prostitute. So be prepared to get any sort of infection. We never know what sort of conditions or what sort of infections they may acquire over the years because of the nature of their profession. So it is almost like that. Once this the data travels across public internet, there is nothing guaranteed about its performance, and as well as its security standpoint, if you think about whether it is secure or not. So it's good to think as the way it existed before. You can reconsider and you can start having your own private leased line circuits with some kind of guaranteed bandwidth. Sometimes they can ISPs they can offer it via these days via MPLS circuits and stuff like that. But olden days, of course, they used to have via other means. So I still used to remember what I have seen is they used to have like a line of sight microwave based connectivity. I'm not sure about the underlying data link layer technology, but it's quite fascinating. So I think companies have to really reconsider about having their own infrastructure, not to just have some kind of public infrastructure or use public infrastructure like internet for every sort of purpose, especially connecting their two remote branch offices and to their main headquarters and some kind of complete private network like that as well. So hope you guys loved watching this videos. In case if you have any views, you can discuss in YouTube comments, and as well as you can reach me via email. So thank you very much for watching this video. Have a nice day. Bye bye.